Welcome to another episode of Sex After. I am your host, Ashley Cobb. And on Sex After, we talk about sex and how it changes through all the different life changes and challenges. So today is an expert episode. I have Chanel today. Hi, Chanel Marshall. Hi, Chanel. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. So I have known Chanel, I don't know, several years. We first met on social media because we're both sex educators or whatever. And so we connected through social media years ago, like
hmm
before COVID, years.
Yeah, wait.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is how I do things now. Now everything is before COVID or after COVID.
Yeah.
Like, like it was before COVID.
Yeah, because
That's
that's
how.
a good time marker for people because it
Yes.
just is so mixed up after that. Yeah, it's so mixed.
And the crazy thing is, COVID started. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
5 years ago. So
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
It's
but
wild.
yeah. So it is very well. So we have been social media friends for a very, very long time. So today we're going to talk about kink, right, and what that is, and how kink can improve your sex life. I think when people think about kink, people think of. Oh, let me say this. So some people think they're kinky because they like lick booty or something, right? And then you have some people who like that's just everyday regular sex for them. And then
hmm
you have some people, their next level of kinky is like dungeons and whips and chains and all these things, right? People's level of kink is different. So we're gonna talk about what kink is and how kink can improve your sex life. Chanel, first of all, give me some introduce yourself to the audience, tell them who you are, how long you've been an educator, and then how did you get into kink or teaching about kink?
Sure. Okay, I'm Chanel Jaali Marshall. I've been a sexologist for almost 20 years now. All right.
Long time.
Long time and lots
Long
of
time.
changes. Listen, lots of changes in that and all of that. But yeah, my background is in psychology, sociology, behavioral science, marriage and family therapy, all of the things. I started out volunteer with like reproductive rights organizations first, doing that kind of stuff, teaching about safer sex practices, then doing some research, and then just kind of built up from there. So yeah, I wear many hats, as you understand. It is never
Mm-hmm.
just one thing. One of my niches is HIV, STIs, and infectious diseases. So
Mm-hmm.
that is one of the lanes that I'm very passionate about and have worked a while at, as have you.
Mm-hmm.
I saw your face at the conference on the poster. I said, "Look at Ashley." That's what I was like. Let
Do
me
what I can.
right. I was like, "Let
Do
me."
what I can. Do what I can.
So because you know that work is not easy.
It's not.
It's not, but it's needed. So I think those of us, you don't stumble into HIV, I don't think. And
Mm.
if you do, you're like, okay, I'm in it, or it's either I'm in
I'm
it
not.
or I'm not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you can't kind of halfway.
Yeah.
Outside of that, what else? As far as kink goes, I go by Professor CJ in that world. That is how I am addressed, and I am strict about it. Everybody's like, "You look like a librarian, girl." Yeah, and I will get you together as well if that is needed. But yeah, I honestly have been a kinkster for a long time, but that shows up differently for people, which we can talk about in a bit. And a part of my journey is just I do the scientific method for everything. I read about everything first, and then I go and look and see and match it up with what I read, and then go from there. So that's kind of my introduction. So that's why the journey has been long. But yeah, I realized that one of my gifts is teaching. And so that's how I kind of got into kink education because people do listen and I'm able to meet people where they're at. So I'm like, might as well use use my talents. You know how that goes. Like, might as well use your talents where you can. And I love it because you're giving people some real insight. Because kink is one of those things you can stumble into, but you can
Mm-hmm.
stumble into the wrong people, wrong
Mm-hmm.
hands, and that initial interaction with kink can really determine how the rest of that goes. If you don't have something to kind of counteract that. So yeah.
So let's talk about. So you mentioned a word that I want you to define. So what is a kinkster? What makes someone a kinkster?
Yeah, so a kinkster is pretty much anybody who is involved in kink and they themselves identify that way. Like you mentioned earlier, there are some people who do kinky things, but they don't identify as kinksters. There are some people who identify as kinksters, and you may see them like, that's kinky to you? Okay, you like it, I love it. But what I do like about kink is that it's so broad and it can mean, it's so individual, right? You can kind of curate what you want. You can kind of have it your way in kink in a way. And so,
So, so what is a kink? So, what's the textbook definition of what a kink is?
yeah, so a lot of times people will interchange kink and fetish. You see that a lot online, and we kind of interchange that, but technically they're different. A kink is basically, anything that might be a little different or outside of what people consider the norm. A fetish is something that has to be present in order for you to be sexually aroused. So you can have, you can like, let's see, you can like stockings on somebody. Let's use stockings. And that might be like, oh, that's sexy to me. But if it's your fetish, you need stockings present in order for that to, really activate you sexually. So that's kind of the nuance there. So that's why I feel like people kind of interchange it. But fetish has to be there for, that sexual gratification to happen.
So let's talk about Black people in kink, right? So I hear a lot. Oh, that's white people sex, right? First of all, white people sex does not exist.
Thank you.
There is no such thing as colored or race specific sex.
Right.
Like, it's just sex, right? It's just sex. But people are like, oh, that's white people sex. Black people don't do that. And, what I have found and learned doing this work for the last decade is that there are Black people doing all types of things. Now, you might not know them because, your perception is reality. You're your own little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But there are whatever thing you can think of, imagine, seen on TV. Like, I used to watch Real Sex back in the day.
HBO late night.
Yes. I used to sneak and watch it.
Absolutely.
Because I grew up Baptist. We didn't do that in my house.
Same. We ain't gonna go there.
But on Real Sex, it was very white.
Mm-hmm.
It was very white. And so, but anything you have seen or can imagine, there are Black people somewhere who are doing it. You just have to find your people. So talk about briefly the Black kink world. What is that like? If someone who is maybe interested in exploring how they do that, if they feel like, all Black people I know are just regular vanilla.
So you're absolutely correct, Ashley. Whatever you can think of, literally just pull it out the sky. Somebody's into it. And specifically, somebody's Black. Somebody Black is into it.
Mm-hmm.
Because kink is seen as other, can be seen as deviant, can be seen as weird, what are they doing over there? A lot of people will not reveal themselves to be kinksters. And that's why there are way more people than you think involved, right? But discretion also is a big part of being in this lifestyle because people have regular jobs. It could be your doctor, busting it wide open at the dungeon. And that's fine. That doesn't take away from them being a doctor. They just like to bust it wide open at the dungeon. That's just is what it is. That's what they do for fun. But because we have such a, very narrow view of what sex and sexuality can be and how people can express that, you see it locked down a whole lot. Being Black adds another layer to that because of the perception of we don't do that. Or, what do you mean you want to get beat? Our ancestors, you have to kind of, and that's something I teach about in a separate whole thing, right? How to even wrap your head around that particular concept. Yeah, Black people do everything. And so in order to find people, I hate and I don't love the site, but FetLife.
Same.
No shade to the FetLife creators, people who run it. It can be a dumpster fire. However, you also can find people who are doing the things that you like on there. So I always tell people, if you're interested in kink, you can go on there, you can search events in your area, and yes, you need to do extra layers of vetting and just, do a little bit more research, but the people do exist wherever you are or near where you are. So that's my whole point. Otherwise, of course, you can always search up people on Instagram, and there's people there. There's people there. You just kind of have to maybe type in a couple of little buzzwords, hashtags, or something, and kind of find your way in a way.
Can kink improve someone's sex life?
What I like about kink and what it has done for me is that you can apply a lot of what you learn in kink into regular life and your regular sex life and just your regular life in general. In kink, if done well, you have to use your words. You have to speak up for yourself. There's something called negotiation. I'm somebody who tops people, meaning I do things to people. And so before I touch you, I'm asking you a list of questions, from how are you feeling today to what do you want to what's off limits to, what do you like? Do you have any places I need to avoid? Do you have any places that you want special attention on? Those things you have to answer for me before I do anything to you. So in that moment, you do have to kind of like tighten up and be like, oh, well, I do like my head rubbed. Okay, I can do that. Or like, I have a shoulder injury, so can you avoid? Sure. Like, those are the things that you need to do. And so you can apply that to your regular life or regular sex life by practicing speaking up more. You can do those negotiation skills in your regular sex life. And it doesn't have to be a whole sit down, boring interview. You can make it cute. You can make it, sexy. You can make it, you can make it a game. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it. But I will say one skill is to speaking up for yourself and being clear about what you actually might want or want to explore.
So I get this question a lot. I get this question from people who they may be into something, a certain kink or something, or want to explore that, and their partner is not. Their partner is vanilla, or their partner is not into what they're into. So the question I get a lot is, how can I not make, but how can I help my partner to enjoy my kink, or at least help them to at least want to explore it? So if people are having that situation, what advice would you give them?
I think it's worth talking through it because you may say, let's see, I'm into dressing up. And the other person may be like, what? But maybe you can explain, like, what does dressing up mean for you? And maybe there is a way that you all can meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe they want to dress up, but not as much as you, or just a hat will do, or just, like, there's ways to talk through that. I always love to suggest the tool of a yes, no, maybe list.
Yes, I said all the time.
All the time, right? A yes, no, maybe list will be a great tool because both of you have the same thing and you can check off like yes, no, maybe, and then you can discuss why yes, no, maybe. And so that's where you have like, oh, I didn't know you meant it that way. You may see something like choking and somebody might be like, absolutely not, because that's dangerous, woo, woo, woo. But it may just be like, I just like the hand on the neck and it just gives me the vibe of, you know what I mean? Or you can kind of play with that. Because, some words do seem like a lie. If you just see it straight out, you'd be like, okay, that's interesting, instead of figuring out. It may not be that deep for them. It may just be like, oh, I saw this, it's interesting to me, and so I just want to like look into it. Can you like, let's figure out like what this looks like together. Or solo play is also a thing in kink. You can also try out things for yourself, on yourself, not every single thing, but a lot of things you can. So even if your partner is not hip or they need to warm up to it, you can still explore that yourself.
So what are some things that you can explore solo play? 'Cause everything I'm thinking of kink related like requires people. So
Mm-hmm.
what is like a solo kink activity?
You can honestly, Ashley, you can do a lot. So sensation play, like feathers and things like that, or different textures. There are different
Okay.
implements, even sharp things like pinwheels or Wartenberg wheels. You can do that on yourself. And I tell people to explore that. So when you do come to somebody like me, or you're doing pickup play, or you're at the dungeon, you're like, oh, I like that pinwheel. That feels
Mm-hmm.
good. So you can name that. So it's worth,
Okay.
exploring yourself. You can even do impact on yourself, impact play, either with floggers or with other items. Just kind of figure out like what feels good, like, oh, I don't like that, or like a thuddy feel versus a stingy feel. You can figure out those kinds of things. You can do wax on yourself, wax
Okay.
play. You can play with that. I love incorporating like wax play and knife play. Knife play sounds scary. It sounds scary. However, it doesn't have to be. My knives, some people do sharp knives. I have a dull one, and then you can get the wax off like that, which you can also play with temperature because, the metal is cold and you just have something hot. Like, there's a lot that you can kind of do with it that don't necessarily have to involve.
Okay. Those are good examples because I really was sitting here like, what can I do for
What can
myself?
you write?
Yeah, but all that stuff man now makes sense.
Yeah.
So I also found this is to be important too. Like we as people want our partners to be able to share their desires and things they want to do, but it's also important that when they tell us things that we don't be like, oh my god, you know what I'm saying? We don't do that.
Yes.
I think one of my many talents, because I have so many, but one of my many talents is I am able to make the men that I'm around feel very comfortable
Yes.
and being able to say whatever they want to say to me.
Yes.
I have had men tell me they are into being cuckolds. I've had men say that they enjoy, I can't think of the particular word for this kink, but it's they enjoy someone defecating on them. I've had scat play, there you go. I've had people, spit in my mouth, like things like it. And now some of the things I'm like, cool, not my jam,
Sure.
but cool for you.
Yeah.
Some of the things I'm like, okay, I'm open to exploring that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we have to be particularly women, Black women, right? We have to be open and not shut down our partners, whether male, female, whoever your partner is, not shut them down. Because a lot of times I think we can be very close minded,
Yeah.
and that doesn't lead to a very fun life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, if we just get a little more curious, that's what I've been
Yes.
saying lately. Just be a little more curious. Don't you want to, like, see? And you could hate it, and you could be like, we're never doing that again. But you tried it.
Tried it.
You tried it, right?
I tell people all the time, how do you know if you don't like something if you haven't tried it?
If you haven't tried, there are things.
How you know?
Yeah, and sometimes you need to try it again. Just to be sure.
My rule is I try things at least 3 times.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
First time could be
Uh-huh.
second time either, by the third time I'm like, okay, cool. By the third time I either know if I like it or I don't.
Yeah.
I have a 3-try rule.
Yeah. And I think that's fair. There's some things that like I'm clear that I don't like, even though I'm willing to like I don't like electro play. It doesn't.
Oh, I love it.
And see, and that's the thing. Like that is not a thing for me. But I wonder. It was like, okay, well, we use that thing. What I wonder if we use a different little extension or something like that. If that would be better. So like I'm even willing to like tip back and like look at it again. But I tried it several times to be like, it's not up there on my list. Like I don't go seek that out. I'm gonna refer you. I don't top for that. I'm gonna refer you out. But like yeah, and as you can see, you love it, and I'm like, eh.
Now let me say I have not done electroplay like a full session of it. I was hosting this event years ago in North Carolina, and it was kind of a kink event where people demoed and they had different things. Not a play party, but like a kink party or whatever. And so there was this guy there who was that was his thing. He did electroplay. Now at first I was like, I don't know. But then I tried. I was like, "Oh, this is nice! I gotta get one of these little kids." Yeah. So I was like that at first. Then I was like, "Oh, this is nice. I like it." So yeah. So you have to try.
You have to try.
Have to try things.
You do, cause yeah, I tried fire. I saw fire play, and I was like, absolutely, almost cussed.
You can.
Okay. I said, hell no, like, what we doing? But then I tried it. I asked him 82 questions, and then I was like, okay, just, he was like, let me just try it on your hands so you can get the vibe of it. End up loving it. End up being able to top for it. End up, all that stuff, because I just got curious. And I don't think it's for everybody. Everything isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But like with fire, it's like more of the illusion of it. It just seems, yes, it can. It's dangerous. It's literally fire, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
what you think it is. It's like a hot stone massage. Honestly, that's how it feels to me.
It's so, and I've seen fire play done several times, and I just like I never tried it. So maybe I need to try it one day. I just it just seems like I'm not trying to be burnt. I'm not trying to be like Michael Jackson and burn up.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to try it. I've seen it. I just been like, eh.
Because it do
Um,
look like a lot. It do. I'm not
it
gonna
does
lie. I'm not gonna
a
lie.
whole lot,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that,
Yeah.
but it's like a whole lot. So I think people's biggest reference to kink is 50 Shades of Grey. That's. And so every time I say 50 Shades of Grey to a kinkster, everybody eyes roll like 50 Shades of Grey. Right? No one. I actually like 50 Shades of Grey. I thought it was a good movie. But no one in the kink world likes the movie for some reason. It's like I don't know. So tell people how 50 Shades of Grey is. What's the misconception? How is that movie different from real life? And so what does 50 Shades show us that is not a part of, I guess, like the kink experience?
Consent.
Okay, well,
Consent
yeah.
is
And what is talk about what that is and how that looks in kink world?
absolutely, consent is to me, and this is the only thing that I think is a right or wrong thing in kink. If consent
Okay,
is not present, then you're absolutely doing it wrong. That is my opinion. I think you can kind of ask anybody that part. Everything
okay.
else you can kind of interpret and decide what you want for yourself. But consent essentially is everybody in on this? Is everybody safe in this? Are we all agreeing to do the same thing or participate in the same activity at this time? You can start the activity and be like, this is absolutely not what I want. And you can decide to not do that, and that is okay. So, consent is something that can be given and taken away very freely. It should not come with any pushback. And so, the issue can be in kink is when you have people who call themselves dominants, who feel like because they identify as a dominant or they're seen as a dominant, that what they say goes. That is not how kink goes. It is a mutual sharing of energy, sharing of time, all of that stuff. And if that is not present, then we need to be asking further questions. So yeah, usually in kink specifically, the consent comes in the negotiation portion of a session. This is especially if you are at a dungeon or some kind of party or something like that. You're supposed to, kind of get on the same page. You talk about safety. Some people use the traffic light system, meaning like red means stop, yellow means either slow down or move to another area. Green, it's all good. Some people use, hand gestures or whatever.
Pineapples.
Right. The safe word, right? Right. So like whatever works, right? But is you have to have those things, or it's ideal to have those things in place because kink can be dangerous depending on what you're doing. So you need to have those things in place. So that's where the consent kind of comes in. And from what I know of 50 Shades, there was some, a couple of little things, and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, that'll get you cussed out, but okay, cool, cool, cool."
Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home because results may vary. Results may vary. I can tell you that.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I will meet you in the parking lot and we can just settle this outside. Let me hold my earrings. Like, I'm not playing with you.
How do you vet people? So if you're new to space or whatever, because everybody's like the dom world, everybody's a dom, everybody's like know they're doing
Everybody's
whatever,
dumb.
especially on Instagram. Everybody know they're doing, supposedly.
Everybody, yeah. Yeah.
So how do you vet people? Is there like certifications we should be looking for people that should have? Is it like a directory we should go to? How do you vet people?
I wish there was something that you can kind of go to, like what we had, like, oh,
Hmm.
are you certified in this? That
Right.
doesn't necessarily happen in the kink world. And
Okay.
so the due diligence on the individual is to do some research. I tell people if they go into dungeons, watch people. I just spent a lot of time just watching people to see how they interact with people, to see what their, like, if I felt like their vibe would match mine. Because every Dom is not for you. Every person doing, even if it's like, okay, Ashley loves electroplay, every electroplay person is not your person to do that on you, because some people are sadists, some people like to do that, and that pay. Are you a masochist? Do you want that for yourself? Like there's a lot of nuance there. So I would say look people up, ask people about that person. If somebody can't vouch for them, then you need to be looking, because some people unfortunately do. And I'm calling out men, I'm calling out cis men, because I don't care. A lot of cis men feel like just because you got a peen, you're a dominant. And I can
Yes.
tell you 100% that is not true. Ask me how I know. That is not true. And it is okay that it's not true. And so I think, people have to do their inner work to try to loosen up some of those ideas around like masculinity, femininity, all that stuff. And that's extra work that people have to kind of do on the side. But a lot of people are here because like they want to be cool. Maybe they weren't cool in another area of life. This is where they find their coolness or their power. And it's a yes and yes, find that, but also be responsible with that, right? Like, I want you to have all the coolness, all the power, all that stuff, but are you using it responsibly? And that's where I take issue with a lot of this, like, just out here flexing, whatever. Like, are people, can they define things for you? They're a dom. What does that mean? I'm a daddy dom. I'm a sensual dom. Define it. What does that mean? Like, listen, I give these men hell, and I do not care, because
You need to, because like what I have found, similar to what you have found, is I think a lot of men are in this space because they just want to fuck, like they like fucking, they think they're freaky, and yeah, that's it. That's like it's like they're taking advantage of people. Like okay, well, what makes you now?
right.
You saw you watched one movie. Like what make well like how did you even get into this? Like how did this happen? So a lot of I found that so there's a lot of men in the kink world, or even not even kink person always, but sometimes like the pleasure world,
Absolutely.
who just give me who I side and I give me pause.
Yes, yes, for
Yeah.
sure. Because I'm like, now who is you? Look up a picture,
Uh huh.
like hot shit. Like, we're not doing that. And so I say, like, yes. And I know people want to be eager and jump in and just figure out. But in the kink world specifically, in my opinion, you have to do that extra vetting, because people literally swinging things at you. They're hitting you. They're putting things on your skin. You want to ask some more questions. They're touching your body. You're exchanging energy. You want to be asking questions.
And particularly with men, like they need to have a really clear idea, a really clear understanding of what consent is. Really clear. Like I know I've heard several stories of people who maybe had like some sexual violence charges in the past, or in certain situations they did not adhere to whatever consent was. Somebody said stop, they kept going.
Exactly.
So that's a little scary.
And
So
that's why
yeah,
you
you have
have to ask, because
yeah.
it's easy to just hop to another community. How would you know? I don't know all the people in Charlotte. I don't know all the people in whatever city. You know what I mean? If you messing up here in DC, you can be like, oh, I'm gonna just skedaddle over here to Philly, or I'm gonna just skedaddle over here. And I'm like, how would you know unless people are
Yeah.
talking and, having those conversations? You also can't be so thirsty for attention, or wanting that attention, that you are willing to accept the first dude or dom or whomever approaches you either. I'm talking to the people who's usually like a submissive or a bottom that's just trying to like find somebody to do some stuff to them. And I'm like, a lot of people gonna pay you attention. Get on fat. Just get on fat. You'll see. Like, a lot of people just hi, who are you? Like, I can tell you to read my profile because I asked you not to do that. Like, I asked you
Yeah.
not to call me no pet names. You must want me
Correct.
to cuss you out because I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, they not reading no profiles. It's just like a dating app. Like, they not reading profiles on there neither. And so,
They not. I know. I had someone say I was at a an event a month ago, and this person girl, she's a dom, and she was saying how in her profile on FetLife, she is very specific on how you address her. Like, this is how you get you say these things. And she can always tell if someone doesn't read her profile because they don't do what is listed.
Exactly.
Like, she said men feel like they can just approach her however,
Yeah.
and that she's supposed to be like, I guess, respond to that. Like, no, I list on my profile how you get to respond to me. It's there for a reason.
It's there for a reason. So that just, just being mindful of that stuff. And it's very easy to get, caught up in this because people will pay you attention. What I do like about kink is that it's accepting of everybody. It doesn't matter, what size you are, what color you are, all that stuff. Like, there is space for you. And I love that. And also, there are people who know that there's space for everybody and will take advantage of that. So it's just very mindful, very cutesy. Just you need to keep it very demure.
So, Chanel, is there something that we did not discuss that you would like to discuss?
Well, I just want people to, like we said earlier, just be more curious. You deserve to have all the fun and be able to have a little story. Like, if nothing else, do it for the plot. Like, I went to a party recently or went to an event recently that I knew might be a little sketcheroony, and I went with some people, and it was kind of what I thought it was gonna be. But we got a chance to giggle about it. We were safe and all that stuff. It was fine. But it was just be curious, just see what's out there. And then you get to see how people kind of behave in space. You get to see what, like you said, some people think the word play because they're in lifestyle. They might be swingers. So we didn't even get to that. A lot of these spaces kind of clash sometimes. You have your kinksters, you have swingers, you have swinksters, you have all kind of people who mix up everything, and so even that's interesting to be in space and
So I'm glad you brought that up. So all kinks do not, or all kink parties or play do not lead to sex.
correct.
Some of them are it's just play. It's not a sexual thing. Swingers is sex. You're swapping people. You're whatever. But that's a sexual activity.
Yeah,
Not all kink is.
correct. That's correct.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, and that's important to note because, and I'm glad you brought that up because the thing I went to, it was me and a friend, and these dudes walked into the room we were in, and it was feeling oh, here's the available coochie. That's what it was giving. And so I was like, are they swarming us right now? This could be a really sketchy situation. Thankfully it wasn't. But, in conversation with them, we used the word play, and then the person I was with was like, so how are y'all defining play? Because he was like, oh, yeah, I've been to the Crucible. The Crucible is a dungeon space in the DC area, for those who don't know. So yeah, I've been in the Crucible. Those are the whips and chains people, da da da. And so the person I was like, oh, well then how are you defining play? And I lied to you not, Ashley. 3 of them at the same time said fucking.
Mm-hmm.
And we go blink, blink, blink. We're the whips and chains people. And 2 of them left. When I say I was
wrong party,
go somewhere else. It was so interesting. It's just oh yeah, that is a possibility. There are some, like you said, there are some people who are just there for sex, which is fine, because that specific space was for whatever you wanted it to be, I guess. But even in that, people are going to a kink space expecting sex, and that may not be the case. And so you might need to, be okay with that not happening and just, doing your voyeur thing, just looking and just kind of see what you can see. But some spaces are mixed. Some people, so it's a lot of nuance, and the people be all mixed up together at these parties.
They do. I went to an event here in Atlanta Labor Day weekend, and it was more of a kink event. That's what it was. But they had places if you wanted to have sex, but it was more of a kink event. So I went with somebody, and the person I went with, he was used to sex clubs.
Got it.
Right. And so he was hella disappointed. He was like, ain't nobody here fucking.
He was looking for trapeze, honey. He was looking for trapeze.
For trapeze. Wrong club. Yeah, and I was like, I'm like, well, they have stuff here if somebody wants to. He's like, nobody here want to fuck. Everybody want to do this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, this is not. It's not that type of party.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that's what he. I didn't know that's what he thought until we got there. He started complaining because he well, I should figure that out. He's in like the poly lifestyle.
Okay.
And so yeah, I should have figured it out. But yeah, but anyway, so he's poly. He's not really into the kinky lifestyle. He's into the multiple women orgy threesome lifestyle. So yeah, so it was a very very interesting night. He was like, anybody here fucking? Like this is a kink party, sir. Wrong party. Wrong party.
Right. Yeah. So it's important to kind of, figure out because, yes, like in my lifestyle and the people I run with, we do incorporate sex and kink together, but we also can pull it apart. And not everybody has that kind of mindset. And sometimes you just want, I hear all the time, I need my ass beat. And people who are not like locked in, they might be like, okay, all right, you all right? But in the
My girl, you right, girl?
like, do we need to? Okay, do you need to go see the lady? Like, and that's fine if that's like, let's talk about it. But in this one, it's just like it's a release for them. So it's how you're approaching it. For some people, kink is healing. For some people, it is intimacy. For some people, it's entertainment. For some people, it's so many reasons that you can do it. So yeah.
So you said you teach classes, correct? So what class do you teach? And then how can people contact you if they're interested in the classes?
Yeah, so I do a lot. I love new people. I love beginners. Not everybody does. So I do a lot of one-on-ones. I also do like graduate level where I'm talking about intersectionality with kink, race and kink, disability and kink, gender and kink, all that stuff. Because I think those are important conversations to have as well. How it can be intimacy, how you can still have closeness without sex, because some people don't want the actual like penetration or they don't want that kind of vibe with it, but they still want to be able to express themselves or feel sensual and that stuff without the sex part, and you can get that through kink. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I can kind of teach about, but you can always find me at Jaalico, which is JAALI_CO. They can find me. They can always email me. I'm pretty accessible for the most part. So yeah.
Thank you, Chanel. This has been a very good conversation. Hopefully, people who watch and listen learn something about themselves or about people who are kinksters.
Yeah.
Everybody who's a kinkster is not weird or they're not into white people sex. It's just what they're into.
Yeah. And some of y'all kinky and just not calling it so. You like your ass smack, you like your hair pull, you like a little chokey choke. Okay, you in it a little bit. I'm just saying. A lot of people have their so you're looking at the more, like you said, the more extreme things, and there are some things that are considered extreme, and you don't have to be into those things. You actually don't have to be naked to kink. You like there's so many things you can be creative with, which is another reason I like it because you can kind of just figure it out.
Good, yeah. So if you are interested in kink and want to learn more, please follow Chanel Jaali on Instagram at Jaali Co.
Yeah.
No, Jaali_Co. Right?
Yes, thank you.
Jaali_Co. Thank you. On Instagram, are you on like TikTok or?
I am on TikTok as Chanel Jaali. While we still have TikTok, I'm on there because who knows what that is doing. I'm on Twitter as well. I will never call it by its new name.
Same.
Also, Jaali_Co. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on all the triple OG sites. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if you're interested, yeah, hit my girl up and she will help you get your kink life together. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Hold on.